Minnesota Vikings went through a pretty major offseason change. A lot of veterans were shown the door, but it's going to have to continue this offseason. So here are several Vikings where you're going to have to say it's been real, it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. Here are 5 Vikings who need to go this offseason. Number 1, SHAMAR, defensive interior. So I know that he's an Andre Patterson favorite, but his presence does literally nothing for nobody. 2014 7th-round pick out of UConn. Now he worked his way up to being a pretty nice hybrid defensive tackle. Could play a little bit of nose, can play a little 3-tech, but as a backup, a rotational backup. Left for 1 year to the Seahawks and then came back on a 3-year, $12.45 million deal, which, Now, the Vikings would free up $3.75 million in cap space by letting go of the 7-year veteran. And he's not a pass rusher. He's not a penetrator. He's not a 2-gapping nose tackle, which that worried me. So after Michael Pierce opted out, everyone was like, SHAMAR will just play nose. No. And also you saw him yesterday getting washed out continually in the run game by Cesar Ruiz and Eric McCoy. It's just like it all starts up front. And the Vikings getting the line of scrimmage moved 2-3 yards into their defensive backfield. Not great. No, it's not great. So he should not be receiving starter level snaps, and he's too highly paid to be a backup. So deuces. Next up, number 2 Viking who has to go this offseason, DAKOTA DOZIER. Yeah, so DAKOTA won the left guard job in camp over a guy who's been on the practice squad. Cool. And he's played every single snap at left guard. And honestly, he has been the worst left guard in football. Now, he'll have a couple snaps in the run game where you're like, but pass blocking, everything else is not great. So he is the 113th graded guard in the NFL per Pro Football Focus, and there's only 32 teams. Right. And also, you could say, well, DAKOTA is a team leader. He is. He is a team leader in pressures allowed with 44, sacks allowed with 6, and penalties in 8. So fantastic. It's been a huge disservice to the rest of the offensive line, as well as the rest of the offense and the rest of the team, for him not even being challenged. Him every single week, Rick Dennison's like, Dozier. So no Brett Jones, even though he had 2 phenomenal games at right guard. No Uli Udo. No anyone. So no other solutions except for, hey, keep trotting out one of the worst guards in football week after week after week. It's not great. He needs to be gone. He was on a 1-year minimal deal this offseason. The Dennison connection has to be cut off. So again, I respect Patterson and Dennison for having loyalty to their guys, but when it comes at the detriment of the team, no. Next up, number 3 Viking veteran who's got to go this offseason. This one hurts, but safety Anthony Harris. And I've been a big Anthony Harris supporter. Last 2 seasons, become one of the best coverage safeties in the league. Played this year when he couldn't come to an agreement with the Vikings on a long-term deal. $11.441 million on the franchise tag. But this year, it wasn't it. And the Vikings have asked him to do a lot more this year besides just sitting in coverage. And also you have all the young cornerbacks. You have him up in the box more, playing the run, and it hasn't been great. I mean, the lack of tackling and effort against the Saints. Could you say that 41 was making business decisions out there? I mean, it's possible. And last year he was tied for the NFL lead in interceptions with 6. This year, goose egg, D'Angelo Russell, also 109.9 quarterback rating when thrown at, which is by far the worst since he became a full-time starter. 9 missed tackles, the most in his career. It's not good. Also, he turns 30 in October, and he wasn't worth the long-term money last offseason. He definitely isn't now, a year older, and also with the 2020 performance. So let him walk, get a compensatory pick, put a premium on safety earlier in the draft than you perhaps would have, and get another running partner for Harrison Smith. Next up, Viking number 4, who has to be gone this offseason, tight end Kyle Rudolph. So, frankly, this one has less to do with Rudy and much more to do about Irv and Gronklin. So, Rudy is signed through 2023, team leader, has had a couple of nice catches this year, really stepped up big time, notably Week 10 against Chicago. But his deal is out of guaranteed money, and he's due to make a $7.65 million base salary in 2021. Rudy can be cut, and the Vikings would free up $5.1 million in cap space, which is going to be important with the 2021 cap crunch coming up. And, it sucks. It does suck because Rudy can still play at a pretty decent level, but as always, let go of a player a year too early as opposed to a year too late. And also, Irv and Gronklin are ready to be the top 2 tight ends. So the Vikings need the cap space, and I think it's just going to be one of those spots. So Kyle Rudolph is going to hit the bricks. Lastly, Viking veteran number 5, who has to be cut this offseason, or at least be gone. So JALEEL Johnson, and I say be gone because he's out of contract. He's coming to the final year of his rookie deal, and this one's pretty disappointing. So last year he had 3.5 sacks. It was a rotational defensive tackle, and this year, especially without Michael Pierce, especially since the Vikings didn't address defensive interior in the draft, is like, okay, he could be a force up the middle. Maybe he'll keep James Lynch at bay, all that stuff. Well, he did keep James Lynch at bay, but performance this year, no. So JALEEL has been the 131st graded defensive interior against the run at 34.6. Again, there's only 32 teams, and he just been continually bullied and washed out, especially the last 4 games against the run, against Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Chicago, and New Orleans. Like, the Vikings and Johnson have been unable to hold the line of scrimmage, which is why they've had so many problems stopping the run, notably up the middle. Because if your defensive interior aren't strong enough to keep bodies off the linebackers and ergo keep bodies off the safeties, they're going to get caught in trash. They're going to get washed out and pushed around as well, and runners are going to break off big gains. Like, they won't, the running backs won't even be contact until 4 or 5 yards downfield. That's going to be bad. It's going to be absolutely terrible. So he's got to go. Yeah, and complete makeover on the inside of the Vikings defense. Honorable mentions. So now you could say Anthony Barr and put him on this list, but yeah, it's one of those, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. So I think that he'll be back. I think that Mike Zimmer's loyalty does run deep, but either at a pay cut or at least a big restructure to free up some cap space for the Vikings. Also, you could put Dan Bailey on this list, but that one's a given. Yeah, so that's it. That's the list. 5 Viking veterans who got to go this offseason. Well, bye. What are your thoughts? Who should be added to the list? Who should be off the list? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Most support that work. Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.